it is extremely important to ensure the input millet grains are of good quality. There are 5 main parameters to be considered: moisture level, average size, uniformity of sizes, nature and percentage of material other than grains, and lastly, presence and nature of mud balls. The quality of millet grains used as input for the processing will strongly influence the quality of the output. Let us consider the 5 parameters one by one to understand how each one influences processing and some simple techniques to identify how a particular sample is good or not. Moisture level. When the grains have too much moisture, storage losses due to fungal growth and heating of the grains increases dramatically. Pest infestation probability also increases significantly. Most importantly, the hulling efficiency drops dramatically as the moisture levels in the millet grains increase. All procured grains need to be checked for excess moisture before storage. A simple way to check for moisture level in a sack of grains is to put one's hand deep in the middle of the sack. The temperature of the grains at different depths should be about the same if the moisture is low. When the moisture is high, the temperature increases as the hand goes deeper and deeper into the sack. After drying in a yard, pick up a fistful of millet grains in one hand and hold it in a clenched fist for say 15 seconds. If it is still high on moisture, the temperature of the grains drop fast and then will start feeling cool. This indicates that the grains need to go back to the drying yard for further drying. Average size. The bigger the size of the grain, bigger the rice kernel inside. But one has to check if the kernel is hard and cracks when chewed on or gets crushed. This is a simple way to determine, especially close to the farm gate, if the crop was cultivated in rain-fed conditions or was irrigated. An irrigated crop will have a higher average grain size but will not have the same grain hardness. This will also reflect on the millet rice's cooking quality, aroma and nutritional composition. The simplest way to check for size is to use a magnifying glass and visually inspect multiple samples. Uniformity of sizes. A few really large grains with a lot of small grains would not be a desirable grain size distribution. The grains should be as uniform as possible, with a central peak of the size distribution being as wide as possible and the tails of the distribution as low as possible. The test sieves set can be used to confirm the size distribution of the grains. Select about 200 grams of grain as a sample and sieve the grains through successively finer sieves. The sieve on which maximum quantity of grains remain should have at least 50% by weight of the sample taken for testing. Nature and percentage of material other than grains. There will almost always be some material other than grains in the material that is brought in for processing. Ideally, material other than grains should be zero, but rarely is that the case in reality. MOTG such as sand, large pebbles, stones, straw are a nuisance and inflict a financial cost on the processor. But these can be removed by standard processing techniques as they typically have a different size and density compared to the grain. Wheat seeds, especially those that have similar size and densities, pose quite a challenge. Presence and nature of mud balls. The presence of mud balls is a major concern in processing. In particular, the mud balls that get mixed up with grains coming from clay-rich black soils erode and reshape as they interact with the metal surfaces and the grains during the processing. One needs to ensure the quality of the material entering the processing.